And of course, it's a program that brings you up to date with what is happening in the education sector. And talking about the education sector, we are on the doorstep of another administration, and a lot is required in the education sector. The stakeholders say that, as a matter of fact, it is the all-important sector, not an all-important sector, but the all-important sector when you talk about education, and that the economy and whatever you want to build upon in this nation has to begin with education. I'm your regular host, Gabriel Zakari, and thank you for joining us wherever you're watching us. And the issues of education, cannot be exhausted, and we are looking at a very critical issue that has to do with bullying in school. And I don't know of any student who have gone through school one time or the other that has not, or she has not experienced some form of bullying or the other, either from teachers, classmates, friends, just talk about it. But then we have a guest here. We'll start off with her, and she is a commissioner with Character Commission representing Enugu State. And of course, someone is passionate about education. I'm talking of no any other person but Honorable Ginika Tor. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right, the issues of education will kick off. Let's begin. How relevant and important is education to national development?
Yeah, thank you. The issues of education, the importance of education, sincerely, cannot be overemphasized. It's so important that everybody should sing it to in the house and the shops, in public environments, because it actually helps in so many ways. It helps you to develop critical skills, such as, you want to make decisions. It helps you, mental agility. It builds your self-esteem, problem-solving issues, and, logical thinking. You'll be a part of discussion like I'm doing now. Sometimes you might even know, but because you felt something within you is incomplete, and that is education. If you're called upon to speak, you will look at yourself already, you are defeated because you didn't be able to go to say. But when you get this little education, you discover what you knew in the past will now come to play. For me, I'm a typical example of an encouragement to persons who were unable to get the quality of education they desire at their upcoming age. I wasn't born with silver spoon. I was actually born with serious wood spoon. I'm proud of it because even in the midst of that, I'm where I am today. So I see myself as a role model and encouragement to people who would want to say, I can't go to school now. I'm old. Regardless of how important it may say, I don't think I can actually achieve it now. So I try to tell them my story because it motivates a lot of people. I've seen people who have given up, and because they heard me say, actually became a commissioner with a diploma. Yes, my certificate was just diploma. I can tell them that by this year, I will be coming out as a law student, graduating.
But on Ginika, you would add that a lot of people about the government and challenges come to her, getting to education.
You see, I know, but see, let me tell you, prior to my opportunity to be able to, go to the level of education that I desire, I also built myself. There's what they call self-personal development. You have events all over the place. You can actually go to school reading books. You can go to school reading stories on the internet. You can develop yourself. Like now, I'm asked to come. I wouldn't just blindly. I will have to do some research.
Yes.
And when you try to do some research, you are educating yourself. So education may not be only for you to have the opportunity to pay for school. Yes, the 4 walls of the university. Yeah. But there are so many people who I am here to say August, I should be saying, hey, I'm now a graduate of. Before now, I had actually developed myself. That was why I got the opportunity to be where I myself, because it will be, some people like, are you serious? And you don't have PhD or whatever. Because when I come out, I speak. I've been a motivational speaker right time because I developed myself.
I was trying to answer you.
Yeah, the opportunity.
Yes, the enabling environment. You will soon be a barrister. How easy was it for you?
I'm telling you, so you see things that are not easy. I just relax because they are not easy. That's why I'm taking someone through the path. Should you not have the opportunity to go to school? Don't you have the opportunity of your phone? Can't you actually get yourself via your phone? The school asks you just to fulfill all righteousness to get your certificate. Okay. But when you can actually go to school, there are so many programs on your phone that you can leverage to build yourself and get educated and get inclined with the science and be able to speak in public. If I had not done that and I find myself in law faculty, I wouldn't have done better. But because I had already built myself, but nevertheless, the government should also put in place, system that will enable a girl child and even the male also to be in school. There should be no discrimination, as of course you know in section 42. Race, gender should not apply. Everyone has got equal opportunity to be in school, especially for the north part. Our girl child deserves to be in school. And let me tell you, parents also have attested to the fact that when you give birth to a child, you are sure that the age is well taken care of. Because we are the people who look back home. The men will be their wife's family, their family, the people around, the payment of here and there. The women will always live at home. So it's always a mistake.
To say that they also contribute in national development.
Of course. So hugely, a girl child has got a lot of potential to deposit in the society. Okay, I was talking about and I said, because they have more women there, for example, you see, they're doing better. And you look at Uganda. A woman is a speaker in Uganda, and you can see this, the laws are going amicably. So we women, especially when you build us from.
But the disparity that we have now between the male and the female, is it as a result of education? It's just a societal thing?
It's just a society. It's just enabling environment, like you said, acceptance, inclusion, which is what we are crying at. And like I said before, regardless of how is educated, most of them shy away from speaking out. Everyone wants to just live in their shelf and they don't speak out, but the men are always there. However you look at it, right from the origin of life, the man has always been the head. But that doesn't mean the women should be excluded entirely, because they play vital role even from the type of origin. They played vital role on earth, especially in recreation. So we give birth to the men, and they should also understand that we should be respected as their mothers, their sisters, and their wives.
Is that how the system is in the world?
It's not how it is, but it's getting better in advanced world, and even some African countries. And if you see where women are given opportunities in those African countries, they're actually doing better as countries.
All right, if you're just joining us, I'm with Honorable Ginika Tor. She is a commissioner with the Federal Character Commission representing Enugu State, and someone who is passionate about education. Now you talked about the issue of the girl child. How much does it bother you that we still have a large number of Chibok girls in the hand of adopters?
Of course, it bothers every woman. No, it actually bothers every woman, because you should be looking at the fact that it could be your child. Will you be sleeping by now? No. So when you try the physical measures,
what would you like this administration to do as
not to give up on their fight to get them out. They shouldn't give up, and they should do everything humanly possible to get those girls out of bondage, because for me I see it as bondage. And of course, like last time we had some were released, we got some out and all of that, and we discovered that some of them had even fallen in love with some of the people in there. Yes, first love. But sometimes we don't even know anymore, because I had opportunity to speak with one, and I was like, that's my husband. I was like, hey.
And you want to go back? Is it that
she didn't want to go back. She didn't just want him to leave her either. Some were actually pulled out together, and I think more effort should be put in to get them out, because for me it's like, some of them were taken away from school. You have denied them their lifetime opportunity to become whatever they want to become. So we were just, for women, we'll be praying, because we can't do more than pray every day. But for the people in authority, I think they should put in more effort and get them out. And I believe that day is going to come soon.
Okay, we believe that day is going to come soon. And of course, we're looking at the issue of bullying too in school. A lot of issues have come up, especially in Lagos and even the Federal Capital Territory, other states, where bullying has been taken to another level by fellow students. What do you think is responsible for that?
Well, just like you said, bullying has become an increasing prevalent issue. It's a problem. It's something that should completely be zeroed. Let me put it that way.
Do without it in school.
You can't do without it, but you can actually curtail it to a large extent. Like for schools, you already know. You see a child doing so well in the beginning, all hailing.
Okay, let me ask you a personal question. Have you been bullied in school while you were in school?
Of course, but
how did it feel for you?
For me, maybe I won't feel like this. Our children these days are born with silver spoon.
Yes.
Me, I was born backo.
So
you give it to me. I'll give it back to you.
Okay.
I stick, like children stick up for themselves. Right. That was how I found myself. But it's not the best, because it actually makes you to become who you never want to be. But because you need to fight for yourself, it's assumed sometimes or presumed that a little bullying is good for the child in school, so they can stick up for themselves. But the way to be tough, but the way it's going now, it's becoming something that should completely be eradicated. Because you can see a brilliant child suddenly becoming, you just discover that somebody who is on A is F, and you wonder.
Is there a way you can detect a child?
Yes. Just that parents don't pay attention to their children. Sometimes, maybe because of busy schedule, especially with the politicians, bankers, like we used to see that way. There's a way you can detect that your child is being bullied. How would you detect
a child who comes back from school and is being
bullied? Let me tell you. One example is your child is somebody that has so high esteem. Yes. Suddenly, is losing his self-esteem.
Okay.
You will know. Secondly, a child that wants to be in school suddenly wants to avoid school. Going to school. You will beg them today. They won't tell you, because they fear they would have threatened them. If say it, our parent comes here we will go make sure we make this stable for you. But as a parent, you should use that to know your child doing so well suddenly. Because when a child is experiencing bullying, the child will decide not to be, not to be active in class, because maybe the child's activeness is what has caused the bullying. So when they ask questions, or you just sit down and the child will not want to say anything, and before you know, going low before the eyes of the lecturers or the teachers. So the child will just lose it, and then you suddenly see your child going from A to F. As a mother or a father, you should know that the child is going through something, and all you need to do is to get the child to speak out. And the way to get the child to speak out is to, first of all, promise the child that you're going to use the word, I will take you away from the school if you tell me the truth. The whole truth. I'm talking out of experience.
Okay.
The whole truth will now. But if you go, tell me what is happening, what are you like this?
Or after telling you, what do you as parents do?
You go to the school. Go to the school. Somebody like me, I will look for the child. I will and make sure that they show me that child. I will speak to the child myself, because this is my child and I can't afford to lose what my child has to what is going to become. No. And then the danger in it is, if you do not find out in good time and the child becomes depressed or trying to show that the child will join them and become one of the bullies. Yes, so they can give the child protection. But in giving the child protection, the child will definitely go the wrong way, and your wonderful child that you have always known will now become a bully. And of course, it is no better with any bully. Anybody a child that can be seen as a bully is already a child that is seen as a bad child. growing up in a bad way. There's no decent child, well brought up child, that will be a bully. So if you don't want your child to either become one of them or lose his or her senses, then you should be very proactive when you see traces of it.
Alternative also in changing the school where the child is going.
Even if you change the school, you may still go and meet worse scenario elsewhere. So it's better to first of all work with the school at hand, then before you know what to do. If it doesn't stop, then you can decide what else to do. But there are schools that also have the zero tolerance.
Okay, but
they make you sign it as a child when you are coming to the school, that this is zero tolerance to bullying. And bullying has different. We have verbal bullying, we have physical bullying, we have cyber, we have social.
Which one is worse?
The word is something you can never take away from somebody. When you tell a child, look at your face, you are so ugly, you are fat. The way children reason is not the way we reason. The word fat can take a young child off the self-esteem, in fact, losing it completely and get depressed. Especially those Africans were hard. If you tell us we're fat, to say go and get fat by yourself. But still, it's affecting the kind of children we're having now, because they're silver spoon children. It's not like us. If you tell me those days I'm fat, I say, do you want to come and eat my father's food to get fat?
Believe bullying, gets levels, especially we see some people get into tertiary institutions and they become cultists.
Of course, it has got levels, and that is why, the system should also be strict with the laws. You look at the Child Rights Act in Section 70, talking about 14 years to be criminally responsible, any child less than 14 years. But however, except if it's seen that at that point of that act, the child has got the capacity to know that he ought not to do what he's doing, can still go for it. And of course, they may not be taken to the general court or the adult court, but it's juvenile. But which child want to be taken away from his or her parents? So it can actually serve as a deterrent to others. So they should first make it like strict to schools. Ensure that schools will come and sign this to say, should your school be reported, if there's a report of this 2, 3, 4 times, this also should be held. The management of the school should be held responsible. So when they are going to be flogged as a school, you will ensure that you flog the children to ensure that such acts is either critically reduced or never
state as
happen.
Federal Commissioner, Federal Character Commissioner, do you work with schools?
Well, we don't actually work with school. Our job doesn't look at that aspect of school, yes. Our job is more ensuring federalism in the sense that analyzation, there's no lopsidedness in one side, people are well carried along, not on equal level, but on equitable
actually going to
level.
The policymakers, the government, how do we ensure that bullying is eradicated?
We have Ministry of Education.
Okay.
We have so many.
We have the right people, to implement some of these policies.
What we should be talking about, yes, of course. First of all,
I'm saying
do we have the right laws?
We are the doorpost of another administration.
Yes. Do we have the right laws? Okay. Do we have the right people? Yes, I know. Like you said, it has advanced also from the child to adult. When you talk about assault, how do we take it here? Section 335 of our criminal code actually talks about assault, where you have to go to 7 years and all of that. How many people have they been able to persecute for such act? Or is it just having law that is not enforced? So first of all, our judicial system, our legal system should actually be raised up such that people who act, you can California, regardless of the fact that they secure their citizens, they still make it mandatory child to go to adult court should certain issues come up, depending on the grievous, how offenses are. So our government should also put that and ensure that schools, before you can be given certificates, or even now, you can actually call them, have a summit with them, and also bring in a law that can mandate them to be strict about issue of bullying, because seriously, a certain word can actually live in a child for the child's lifetime, will never the rest of the person's life. And of course, what the child would have been truncated instead of coming to fruition. It will be truncated before the child knows. So it's a thing of serious issue. I don't think we have really taken it serious. this country how it should be. But I know that kicking off the way we are talking about it now, more emphasis will be laid on it, more recognition will be placed on. So, because nobody wants to send a child to school and then you feel so bad that your child is being bullied. Some lost their lives, children losing their lives in school because of bullying and all of that. Some commit suicide because they are being bullied. They don't speak to anybody. So it's something that should critically be looked into and be taken care of.
All right, talking about something that should be critically looked into, it's good you're talking about laws, the enactment of this laws, because most issues in schools, particularly in this part of the world, it's usually swept under the carpet. When you talk about even issues of rape, and some other endeavors in schools, we don't rightly report them, and we don't see schools being punished. We see schools go away with some offenses, and when we talk about bullying, it's like some parents will come and scream and talk in school and it's all done. But if the schools know that they will be recruited, they will do the right thing.
Yeah, that's what I just said, that the law should be such that schools should be put in a spot where they will know that they need to be serious about this. And any lecturer that or teacher that tells me that you don't know when a child is going through bullying, I mean, you are not saying the right thing, because should you be a teacher in school and you see your own student that used to make 100% or 99%, suddenly 20%, something should tell you that there's something going wrong somewhere. In advanced world, in every school they have the consultation room where they have like a psychologist, counseling room where people go and consult, talk. They work with the child and the parents. Oh, your child is not doing well. Can you please take time to find out why your child suddenly moved 100 to 20? And then they will call the child. They will psych the child. They want to know, and through them they will discover that the child is undergoing bullying, and they give the child protection. Sometimes they put somebody like a protector behind the person, even in class. The person goes with the child everywhere, toilets, make sure the child is okay for a long time. Then when they see the child is okay,
cameras
CCTV camera, how many? That's another area we should be looking at. If schools can also be mandated to have CCTV cameras everywhere, it will help, because I think once a child knows that I'm being watched,
yes.
And even if they forget, sometimes you can have cameras and you forget suddenly that you are being watched, and you act, at least we will find out whatever had happened. There will be proof. So every school should try, especially if you say you need government for public schools. It doesn't take us anything to ensure that we have CCTV everywhere in all the public schools to give them protection, because the child of a common need that same protection. So much of this do not really happen in very high level primary or secondary schools, because you are talking to public schools are actually going through a lot, because they just see them like nobody's going to speak for these people, but those are the people who need this protection. If you come to a place like the US, you wouldn't want your child to be in private school, because the public schools are doing better than the private schools. They have all facilities more than the private schools.
Where we don't have
they even have vehicles that go to pick your child, but private school, you need to drop your child in school. Yes, in the US, but the public school, you go there to pick your child.
How do we get to that position?
We are getting there now. It's still work in progress. Right. Like I said, our president has done a lot, especially in infrastructure. Our President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we definitely take it from there. Next to education, and he's a man that has so much desire to see people getting educated. So, fear of education to be one of his points where he ensured that they done right.
So, as we look forward to see his desire, crucial, be that in the coming months, if not years, as the next president of the country. All right, viewers, education update on independent teaching, and of course, we had insight from Honorable Ginika Tor. She coming out with the Federal Character Commission. Enugu State. We must thank you sincerely for coming.
Thank you too.
Okay, that's about the size of the program this week. We will come again next week with another interesting topic. See you, and thank you for being there.
Thank you.